Welcome to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we're going to be analyzing Hulu. We'll go over how the service has evolved over time, we'll talk about its strengths and weaknesses, and we'll wrap up the video by discussing all the ownership turmoil the company has experienced. We've got a lot to talk about in today's episode, so let's get right into the weeds of things. Hulu made its public debut in March of 2008. It initially launched as a free, ad-supported streaming service with roughly 250 TV shows and 100 movies. What it lacked in content, it made up for with an easy-to-use interface. Hulu was strictly available through a web browser for its first 2 years of operations, but that all changed when the company introduced a subscription-based service, Hulu Plus. With Hulu Plus, subscribers could stream content through their phones, game consoles, and internet-connected smart devices. Jason Kilar was hired as Hulu's first CEO. Prior to Hulu, he had worked as Amazon's Senior Vice President of Software Applications. Kilar understood that consumers wanted flexibility in determining when and how to watch their favorite shows. And while he believed that TV advertisement was a good business, he thought that cable TV had gone too far with the amount of ads being shown. So when Hulu went to market, it did so with roughly half the amount of advertisement that linear TV had. This focus on improving the customer experience enabled the service to grow rapidly, and in less than 2 years, Hulu had grown to over 40 million monthly active users. For $7.99 a month, Hulu Plus enabled subscribers to watch entire seasons of shows, and with higher resolution than what was available on the free service. In what was seen as a controversial move at the time, paying subscribers would still be exposed to the same amount of advertisement as users on the free service. Despite the skepticism, the company pushed ahead, and by 2015, Hulu had accumulated nearly 9 million paying subscribers. The company announced it would be introducing an ad-free subscription tier and announced that the Plus would be dropped from the name so that going forward, the service would simply be referred to as Hulu. Hulu discontinued its free service in 2016 and shifted exclusively to a subscription-based business model. To give a visual representation, here is a timeline showcasing all the events we've discussed thus far. From a product offering perspective, there is one more development we should highlight, which is the launch of Hulu Live TV in 2017. With Hulu Live TV, consumers gained the ability to enjoy live programming comparable to what was available on traditional cable and satellite networks. The service was particularly appealing to sports fans who had previously been hesitant to cut the cord. Hulu deserves recognition in that it pioneered ad-supported subscription streaming. Hulu's success with this approach has resulted in other services following suit, including Disney Plus and Netflix. While the company collects a lower subscription fee on the ad-supported service, Hulu recognizes similar economic benefits, regardless of which option the consumer chooses, as the lower subscription fee is offset by ad revenue. Throughout the company's history, the ad-supported tier of Hulu has consistently been more popular than the ad-free tier, demonstrating that consumers are willing to view TV advertisements in exchange for a lower subscription cost. The ownership of Hulu has had a lot of moving pieces, and I think the best way to illustrate this is to go back to our visualization and plug them in side by side with the business developments. Hulu was initially founded as a joint venture between 21st Century Fox, or News Corp as it was called at the time, and NBC. NBC and Fox each owned 45% of the company, and the remaining 10% was owned by Providence Equity Partners. Disney entered the picture in 2009 when it acquired a 30% stake in the business. This put Disney on equal ownership terms with NBC and Fox. Next, in 2011, NBC was acquired by Comcast. This change in ownership at NBC played a pivotal role in shaping the future of Hulu, because in order for Comcast to get regulatory approval, they were forced to become a silent partner and give up all operational control in the venture. Regulators did this as they were concerned that Comcast may impede the development of Hulu in order to protect its core cable business. Shortly after that, Hulu received an unsolicited buyout offer, which prompted a series of bids for the company. Potential suitors included Yahoo, Amazon, Google, and Dish Network. While this received a lot of media attention, excitement quickly faded and no sale was made. In October 2012, Providence sold its stake back to the company, which left each of the remaining owners with a 1/3 interest in the business. The next year, Hulu was once again a potential acquisition target. Yet again, no sale was reached, and the current owners agreed that they would invest an additional $750 million to aid in Hulu's development. In 2016, Time Warner became a minority owner after it purchased a 10% ownership stake. The critical moment arrived in 2019 when Disney acquired Fox. Disney's ownership in Hulu increased to 60%, which marked the first time in Hulu's history it had a controlling shareholder. 1 month later, Time Warner sold its stake back to the company, leaving Disney with 2/3 ownership and Comcast NBC with 1/3, which at the time of this recording is the current ownership structure. Next year, we're going to see the struggle for power finally come to an end. This is due to a contract between Disney and Comcast, which becomes exercisable in 2024. The contract allows Comcast to force Disney to purchase its 33% interest, and likewise allows Disney to force Comcast to sell it to them. With a guaranteed minimum sale price of $27.5 billion, Disney will have to pay Comcast a minimum of about $9.1 billion. Hulu is expected to achieve profitability this year, and once Comcast's stake is bought out, the full economic benefits of the service will go to Disney. The Fox acquisition was the catalyst that enabled Disney to consolidate ownership of Hulu, and I view that as a positive development for both companies. With media majors each launching their own direct-to-consumer services, there would have been little incentive to distribute their content on a service which economically benefited their competitors. Instead, their best content would have been put on their own, fully owned service, and Hulu would have likely been left with the scraps. With Disney becoming the sole owner, and with its production capabilities bolstered thanks to the Fox acquisition, I foresee a bright future ahead for the company. That's going to do it for today's episode. If you found it informative, please give it a like, and join me next week for another episode of Into the Weeds. That's all for now. Take care.